Hello there guys, my name is MrYorkiesWorld, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Now today we've actually got a very exciting video. I did a poll on YouTube asking everybody what sort of video or videos you would like to see from this channel, and there were quite a few people compared to the rest who voted for full flight videos. So in this particular video we are going to be travelling from London Heathrow on a short VFR flight to London City. Now, the exciting part about this flight is EGLL is one of the included handcrafted airports inside the Premium Deluxe version, which is what I own. I've also got London City Airport from Orbex, and I've also got the London City pack, the Landmarks pack from Orbex as well. And what I've done is I've used a little nav map here. You can see we've got a short VFR flight route. So here we are at EGLL, and we're going to be going all the way on a nice little... I've planned this route specially because hopefully it will allow us to see a lot of the London scenery around London City, specifically when we get to this particular waypoint here, which is Foxtrot 09. That will allow us to see a lot of the City of London and a lot of the landmarks there as well. And from there we will go to Lima Charlie November 01 all the way around, and it will bring us onto basically the ILS feathers here. We're going to be in the Cessna 172. I didn't want to do it in a big jet or anything like that because we're not really going to have time to see anything otherwise, because the aircraft will be travelling so quickly. So I thought we'll do the Cessna. And yeah, so there we go. That's a nice little flight there that we're going to be doing. This is a full flight from A to B. So let's go back now. We'll go to the welcome screen, and you can see we're going to be using the Cessna 172 Skyhawk. I'm going to go down and load my pre-planned plan, if you will, so bear with me a second. Okay, so there we go. It's loaded the flight plan straight from little nav map into the simulator here, and you can see that it's all mapped correctly. It's going to take about 20 minutes. Nice short flight. What I am going to do though is just change the time. So we'll do something like maybe 8:30 in the morning with clear skies. Because in fact, no, let's go for a few clouds, because that's still VFR conditions. We're going to be nice and low today at around 3,000 feet, so we're going to see plenty on the ground, so that should be pretty exciting. So without further ado, let's click fly. This is the beauty of this particular simulator. You can literally just click fly and then you're off. And I've also got myself a new livery installed for the Cessna 172. People on the Flight Simulator forums have now started working on different liveries, which are obviously not third party. Well, they are third party because they're from the community, but unofficial, if you will, liveries. But they are absolutely tremendous. And that goes for the 172, there's some for the TBM, there's some for the A320neo as well. I'm not sure whether there is any for the 747, but we'll take a look at that at a later date. It's going to take a while to load, purely and simply because Heathrow is a massive, massive airport and a very complex area. Alright, so here we go, the simulator's loaded us in, and we're already on the runway. I'm going to just reset the barrel to make sure that's on par with everything. We're running about 30 FPS, 34, it takes a few seconds and then things should start picking up a little bit. Especially when you pan round, you notice quite a bit of sort of stutter, but the airport is absolutely tremendous. Look at that. Lovely clouds up there as well. I'm going to go down and just set up the autopilot. So I like to synchronise the heading. Flight directors can come on. Let's go ahead and we will put nav and VNav, vertical speed, although we need to set this first. So 3,000 feet. Vertical speed about 600 feet per minute. And we're not actually going to enable the autopilot until we're at a reasonable distance away from London Heathrow. So, without further ado, this is how quick and simple it is. I'm going to throttle up. I'm going to release the parking brake. And we're going to start our takeoff roll. Very, very excited to be looking at both of these particular airports and obviously the Orbex landmarks. I know up close the landmarks aren't too good, but hopefully Orbex will be improving those shortly. And I'll very shortly be doing a review of London City Airport as well at some stage. But there we go. Look at that. The frame rate and the smoothness is very, very acceptable for London Heathrow. And this is an add-on London Heathrow as well. It's not even the original. The flight plan tells us that we need to be making a left turn shortly, but I'm going to wait a few seconds. Look at that. That is absolutely lovely. So let's enable the autopilot now, which will take us all the way to the designated route, designated waypoints, and it'll allow us to take a look at London City. This is the beauty again of Flight Simulator 2020, it's just so simple to use. And for those of you who want to see that livery, this is what I'm talking about. Just a nice plain sort of blue, black and white livery. But the airport looks absolutely fantastic. Again, it's a handcrafted airport that comes with the premium deluxe version of the simulator. And we have started following that path now. I've also got the Xbox controller connected, so I can look around with the right analog stick, and everything's looking absolutely fantastic. One thing I can't wait for is Chase Plane. I'm hoping Chase Plane is released as soon as possible, really, because the default camera system, I don't really like it that much. Got some traffic down there. To me, the default cameras are just not they're just not there. It's just not very user friendly. It is if you want that sort of basic stuff, but there we go. Let's take a look outside of the aircraft. I'm going to go ahead and use the showcase view. This is probably one of the only things I like about the default camera system, is the showcase drone camera. But look at that, absolutely gorgeous. The performance is very, very good. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Look at that for a view. That is absolutely gorgeous. Sunshine up there, nice and bright. Lovely clouds. And you can't really see much in terms of scenery right now, but once we start making this left turn that's coming up in a few seconds, we'll be able to see a little bit more, and we'll start to see London City as we approach. So I've got the latest drivers installed from NVIDIA for the GeForce Experience drivers, and I've got to say I am quite impressed with the improvement in FPS and the improvement in smoothness. The stutter we now know to be because of this, which is little nav map, or in fact anything that connects via SimConnect seems to cause stutters. It's currently an issue that's being dealt with by Asobo, so hopefully we'll have a fix for that in the near future. But look at that for a view. Absolutely magnificent. I'm pretty sure that it's not 100% accurate to what London is actually like, but I would say it's a pretty darn good job, really, that they've done. They've done a really good job. Really am starting to fall in love with this simulator. So at the moment, where are we? So we're on Sunbury-on-Thames, it says. That's to our left. And one thing I do like is the water bodies as well, and how they're sort of rendered in the simulator. We've got the traffic. We can still see traffic even from a distance. And obviously I would say this is sort of like the altitude that this particular scenery is meant or designed to be looked at from. Is a higher altitude. Just going to reduce down on that power a little bit because I don't want to be going too crazy. Don't want to be going over speed. And to our right over there is Kingston upon Thames. For those of you who know where that is, obviously if you live in the US or if you're from elsewhere, you might not know anything about the areas that I'm talking about here. But for those of you who do know, that is what is to our right. Or just over there, should I say. It's just absolutely amazing to be able to look at the simulator like this and think, when I first tried this out in the alpha, there was a hell of a lot of things wrong with it. I think we've come a long way. There's too many people being too harsh on this new simulator. They focus on the bad things, but they don't actually focus on the overall picture, which is an unbelievably amazing new simulator that we've been graced with for a very, very low price. Now you can start to see London City coming in there. And usually in these full flight videos what I would normally do is sort of do the video cuts and transitions. But I like the idea of being able to like look around in VFR conditions like this and talk about it without having to skip anything. It's a nice short flight as well, so it's not too strenuous for anybody. So the way that I've done this flight, again, let's have a look. We'll start to see, this is where we are right now, but we will start to see London City once we start to sort of get to this waypoint here, which is Todby. That's where we'll be able to really see things. And again, London City being one of the airports in all the simulators that I've owned that I've always wanted to fly to or from, but never actually got round to it. So the next thing that people want me to do, obviously I'm doing this right now, which is the VFR flight, which is technically classed as a full flight. That's what most people voted for, but the next thing they wanted me to do is product reviews. So I've just been graced by my good friends over at flightsim.com with all of the current Orbex sceneries that they've released for Flight Simulator 2020, and obviously I'm going to be doing individual reviews of all of those different types of scenery, so look forward to that on the channel. If you're not sure what's coming next, that's a good idea, and I'm going to continue to try and do these daily videos. So this is South Fields to the right, or to the left should I say. I don't even know my directions today. We can see a little bit of stutter coming in. Very, very built up area coming up, so I'm not surprised. But I would say overall the usability of the simulator is still very, very positive. It's very usable. Look how dense it looks. It's so populated compared to P3D or X-Plane. And I'm not seeing a lot of popping in either of the scenery, which is something that I never really look forward to. Sort of ruins the immersion, but we're not seeing very much of that. And this is where the city starts to really sort of get more complex. Like the bridges over there, the tall buildings. But overall I am very, very impressed. So left turn coming up, and then we're going to be able to see all this beautiful stuff over here. And this is when I'm going to start my descent very, very shortly. And I'm going to aim for about 1,000 feet. That's what we want to be at when we're fully lined up with the runway. Just look at that. Absolutely gorgeous. So the airport's over there. Not too far away. But this is what we really came for. The City of London. The one and only. And Westminster is actually to the left as well. Should see the bridge. I believe was one of those bridges actually. Absolutely wonderful. Not sure why that... See, that seems to reset itself, that camera, whenever you let go. That's a bit of a shame. But there we go. How gorgeous is that? See if it'll let me go to the showcase camera. There we go. Oh my goodness me. Look at this. That is just beautiful, isn't it? That has got to be a thumbnail, surely. Beautiful. This is one of those iconic views here that we saw in one of the trailers as well. Top-down view. Lovely. Yeah, they definitely need to sort out... There we go, there's the bridges and everything. That's a much better view. There's the Shard as well. See, from here it doesn't look bad. It's only when you get up close that things start to look a little bit wrong. But that is what we all came to see, ladies and gentlemen. And obviously there is the stadium over there. There's the airport. Just look at this. Good old Union Jack there. But that was absolutely amazing to see. And there's still more. I'd say the frame rates around here are very acceptable. But again, as I always say, this is a default aircraft. We haven't yet been graced with a PMDG aircraft. Or indeed an Aerosoft one or anything like that, so we can't really say that this is exactly what the performance is going to be like. But it's a pretty good start, especially for VFR. Look how beautiful that is. I can't seem to stop saying, oh my god, look at that, that is beautiful. And there's a good reason for it. Absolutely lovely. So at the moment then, let me bring little nav map back up again. So we are... The next waypoint is Lima Charlie Echo 02. And we're flying parallel to the actual airport. The wind is in our favour for a runway 27, yep, runway 27 approach, which is what we've got planned. And the route is set to take us all the way down here, right into the centre of those ILS feathers. But again, we're not going to be doing an ILS approach, we're going to be doing a manual one. So once we're levelled up with the runway and fully aligned, I will disconnect. And I should probably start that descent now, actually. So I want to be at 1,000 feet. I'm going to turn vertical speed on. I'm going to lower the speed a little bit. That's 500 feet a minute, actually, not 600. Then we can always correct that and sort of increase the rate of descent if we need to, but I think we should be okay. But this is all very, very nice. And I love how things sort of render all the way in the distance as well. I know in P3D at least, we used to have issues where things would sort of disappear out of view, we'd have popping in and stuff like that. I don't really see a lot of popping in at all, considering that this is such a dense area. It really is impressive. So descent rate's looking good. Wind is 270 at 4 knots, but it's variable as well. And let me know in the comments section if you'd like me to do more A to B VFR videos like this. I think for the IFR flying, I will probably try and do something in the A320, in the Neo, because I've not actually flown that aircraft very often, or very much. I will probably try and get the 787-10 done as well, because that's an aircraft I've sort of neglected. I've not really flown in that hardly at all since the simulator was even released. I've not made a video about it, at least. I think at the moment my heart's been set on just waiting for PMDG, waiting for Aerosoft, which obviously that's going to be a while yet. I think rumour has it that PMDG aircraft won't be here until sort of like the first quarter or maybe even the second quarter of next year. But they might choose to surprise us, you never know. So what we're looking at in terms of altitude then, so yeah, we should be okay. We're just coming up on 1,700 feet for 1,000 feet. We've not got ATC on, so we're going to just imagine that we've been cleared, and I've not got any traffic enabled, any AI traffic at the moment either. Just to make things a little bit more simple for this flight. But you can see everything's looking as it should. And it's nice and simple. If anybody wants to do this and set up your own flight plans, you can use SimBrief, you can use anything that makes sort of a PLN file. The sim will work with. So I'm going to go for the first notch of flaps just to slow us down a little bit. I'm going to reduce the speed on the throttle as well, because we've got a right turn coming up. And this right turn will hopefully line us up with the runway. This is why I don't like the built-in camera, because it's so difficult to get yourself around the cockpit. We're going to overshoot a little bit. But at this stage, I'm going to take manual control because I know where we're going anyway, and I know how to sort of get there. I can see the runway visually. I'm perfectly fine with that. Although I'd be a bit concerned if I could see the runway any other way than visually. It's a bit of a strange thing to say, I do apologise. My head is not with me, as they say. That's so much on as of late. Trying to get these daily videos out. Really trying to get the most out of the simulator. But look at that, the City of London behind the runway there. And that just looks magnificent, look at that. Especially with the traffic and everything. Not sure what's happened there, looks like there should be a bridge there, but a bit weird. And we've sort of meandered off course a little bit, but that's okay. Too much eye candy going around. That's the issue. Just try to trim the aircraft as well. And I'm gonna zoom in on this map a little bit. There we go. But I am happy with this. Look at the level of detail. Again, if you're not up close and personal, it's not really an issue. I think if you fly like this, you can really get a really good look of the surrounding areas, and it looks pretty decent. So last notch of flaps now. It's going to help slow us down a lot. Trimming the aircraft. But isn't this just amazing? 500. There's 500 feet. Looking stable enough to me. Starting to slightly ease back on the power. Happy to say that I'm a little bit low, but I'd rather be a little bit lower actually. Okay, I'm going to idle those throttles. Nice short runway for us to deal with today. Missed the centre line a little bit. There we go, touchdown. Bit of a bounce, but we're okay. And we'll see if I can make this first exit here. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to London City. It's been around about 25 minutes, something like that, I think. Raise those flaps now. I've got absolutely no idea where we're going. That's about as far as I can go. Right. This looks like a parking spot. And if it isn't, then it is now. Let me just turn into it. Probably shouldn't have done it that quick, but I'm sure we'll live. We're okay. A little bit off-centre as well. But that is it. There we go. Guy sitting there in the van thinking, what on earth has he just done taking up my parking space? Probably waiting for his friend, and I'm obviously not his friend. Right, let's go to the showcase view now. Just take a look at this. So this is Orbex. Orbex London City. There's Gary, or one of his friends, or accomplices. Like a default, I think this is a static model, it might be. Looks like one. Reasonable quality. Looks like you can look inside, and obviously that's not a real interior, obviously. But the vehicles and everything look good. I mean, look at that though. Look at that for a view. Lovely water. This is what I'm going to absolutely love. I'm going to fall in love with this even more as time goes on, is being able to get to the destination and then just take a look around. Let's just speed up the drone camera a little bit. But there's the terminal. We've got another Cessna down there as well. And again, it's always been an airport that I've wanted to sort of visit. And in the simulator, and obviously in real life as well, but I've never got the chance to do it in real life. But now we've done it in the sim. But just look at this, look at the detail here. We've got the bridge. Really detailed. I mean, up close it's obviously going to be blurry because it's not meant to be looked at that close. But look at that for a backdrop there. The London City in the background. London City Airport right there. So, I hope you enjoyed, everybody. That was London Heathrow to London City in the Cessna 172. A nice short VFR flight, full flight, which is what people have been requesting. So I'm hopefully going to be pumping out a few more of these types of videos. And yeah, I've really enjoyed it. So leave me a comment if you'd like me to do any other particular areas, specifically VFR flying. And yeah, I will see what I can do. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.